Hey, everybody, welcome back. We are Pete and Nick here with the Roofr Masterclass, and we are glad to be back here in 2024. Our first one out of the box here, Nick, and excited. We got a good little topic here today. We're going to look at what we've come up with here in the last little bit and what we got to look forward to in 2024. So, really excited to have everybody on here and welcome back here, 2024.
Yeah, I'm super pumped you didn't replace me with Richie. I heard the podcast and he said he was coming for my job. So I'm
Yeah, he
happy I'm
did
here.
say that. Yeah. He was definitely at the end of it. He was lobbying hard to take your spot here. So I told
You
him maybe
know,
he could do some drop-ins from time to time and join us. But yeah. So let's get going here and dive right into it. Welcome everybody. I see we got a pretty good amount of people jumping on here. So super excited to kind of run through some stuff and talk a little bit about a recap of last year. So let's let's dive in a little bit. Let's talk about last year. We had some really great stuff going on as a company. I don't know if any of the folks on have ever used Roofr for anything other than measurements. You may have a question pop up here about your measurements, but anything other than measurements. But we've got a lot going on, and we were able to roll a lot of that stuff out in in 2023. We had the Roofr Rise show go on last year, which was a huge success. We got to meet a lot of you guys in person, so really excited about that. And so let's just dive into it a little bit, Nick, and talk a little bit about 2023. What were some of the highlights for you from Roofr standpoint?
well, it has to be that we released the CRM. That was like the big thing there. I know that we've always had the measurements is what we started off with. Well, marketplace, but then the measurements is what we started off with, built out a really amazing proposal software, tied in the Instant Estimator. So we really had that from lead to proposal and sent out situations locked in. So that entire workflow. So now tying in the CRM and having that for job management, for the emails, for invoicing, payments, etc., all that stuff in there was it's such a big highlight. And what's coming, I can't wait for this one. This was an exciting masterclass for me. I know for you as well, because we get to show off what we got coming on. So that's what's going to be really crazy. What about you?
Yeah, I mean, I think like you said, if you guys haven't seen the podcast that I was able to do with Richard, our CEO, definitely check that out. It's a great podcast. It really kind of gives you a look under the hood of Roofr. And, one of the things that I think is key here that a lot of people I don't think realized, we were, like you said, we did measurements, then we kind of threw proposals in there. And a lot of people don't realize that from day one, it's always been the vision of us as a team to do exactly what we're doing now and build this CRM functionality and build this all-in-one platform and try to move towards becoming this operating system for the roofer, and that's always been the way that we've, envisioned this product heading. And, we just keep doing taking some huge strides in that direction. And, I think the highlight for me in 2023 was how fast we were able to move. I know, if anyone knows, I think even Richie alludes to it on the podcast, but the way we increased the size of our team and what that's allowed us to do has just been absolutely incredible. Our ability to fast track some of this stuff, to go from talking about a CRM to being a CRM in essentially under a year has been just absolutely incredible. And, I look forward to what this team is going to be able to pump out in 2024. So, I mean, let's recap it. Let's dive into it a little bit. 2023, obviously the year of the CRM for us. We talked about it a lot, and we debuted it. Obviously, if you guys are users, the new CRM features are out. That you have the job workflow now, the job board, all the foundational pieces. And then, we've been able to really push and add a lot of stuff. So we're going to quickly review those CRM features and some of the updates and improvements. And then we'll dive in a little bit to 2024, right, Nick?
That's what's exciting. And then you kind of hit the nail on the head, no pun intended. But when we talking about how fast things come out, I've heard it in the industry before, just being like, how are you guys doing this? It's just, and Richie kind of brought it up in that podcast, how we have pods kind of set up for each one situation, for each one of our core products. And that allows us to not kind of take our eye off the ball from any of these. So there's always improvements on proposals, measurements, instant estimator, CRM, material ordering, or scheduling, materials, CRM, and then ultimately fintech. So we're able to have like pods going at all times. So that's really going to contribute to what you're going to see on this 2024 roadmap. And it's important to look at, we work on 2-week sprints. So it means that a feature is coming out every 2 weeks at the very minimum.
Yeah.
And February is going to come off with, like, it's going to start off with a bang. It's going to be really exciting to go over some of that stuff.
Yeah, I think it's a huge thing to note, because traditionally in this industry, a lot of times, especially because you're dealing with a lot of smaller companies, right? Like you've got a lot of startups here, even their CRMs, most of them started out of roofing companies and have just grown into what they are. But because of the way they're set up from a development standpoint, when it's time to build new features, you kind of got to let the other features rest for a minute and we'll build this new feature out. And what we've done has been, really innovative in the way that we've set up that team. So no feature left behind kind of is the idea here, right? Like, we're not pausing any features to build other features, so we have these teams that are continuing to improve measurements, that are continuing to improve proposals while we're building all this CRM functionality. So we didn't have to take the entire team and dedicate them just to the CRM and leave the other stuff to die or just go stale. We've been able to keep everything moving in that direction of the North Star here. And it's huge. I mean, it's absolutely incredible that the teams are able to do what they do and work together to really for the cohesiveness of the product and continue to do, what we can with customer feedback to give you guys a world-class product. So,
Yeah.
So let's take a look. Let's take a look and see what we got.
Well, on that point too, what I'm really excited for, what we're about to get into for that 2024 as well, is February puts everything you said into perspective, because we have releases for our measurements team, our instant estimate team, our proposal team,
Yeah,
our CRM team,
that's
our
true.
supply team, and our fintech team. Like all of that has big releases coming in just February.
Just in this,
So,
yeah,
really, really exciting.
Yeah.
All right. So, Pete, why don't you start off on this?
So much more than measurements. Yeah. So and I think that was one of probably the biggest, I want to say, pivot for us internally, in 2023, or at least our image in the industry. We were considered a measurement tool, right? Like when Nic and I would go to shows, and we would start to talk about what Roofr does, people would say to us, "Oh, I didn't realize you guys did more than measurements," right? And I think that's been the biggest change for us. We're getting ready. Next week is IRE. Nic and I will both be there. So if you guys are going to be there, come by and see us. And, but that's been the biggest adjustment for us is like, hey, we're not just a measurement tool anymore, right? We're so much more than that. And, it's been a long time coming. I think it's taken a while for us to kind of get that message out there, and for people to look at us in a different way. But, definitely we've seen a change, especially over the last couple of months leading into 2024. A definite change in the way the industry is viewing Roofr and, and the tools that we have and what we're able to accomplish for the Roofr on the platform. So,
yeah, and it's a big thing too to see that pivot over. What's been cool is I know in a couple demos that I've done, it's like when I've been at a show and start showing them stuff, they've shockingly known us for like our proposal software or the fact that we have a CRM, and they're like, "Oh, you do measurements too?" And it's like that a really cool thing because we are so much more than measurements. And if you think about it too, no other CRM has a native measurement tool. You're integrating with another one there. So we have that built in directly, which is so exciting. So, but let's talk about this time last year, kind of what we were, and then we'll talk about where we're going.
Yeah, and I think what we were essentially was a measurement tool, or what everybody thought we were was a measurement tool that had added proposals, right? Like, let's be honest. I mean, that's how the industry looked at us. We were a place where you could come order your measurements, and then we added the ability to push those into some really, really nice proposals, presentation style proposals, a little bit more advanced probably than what most contractors were used to on their CRM. And we became a very good, very solid standalone proposal tool as well. So, having the ability to take that from the measurement, get your lead, capture your lead with the Instant Estimator, push it in, order your measurement, get your measurements, and then push those straight into a proposal and get a signature, was a great flow. It was a great flow. But unfortunately, we kind of had this hard stop at the proposal, right? Like you get your signature and then you're like, okay, where do I go now? And you essentially had to go someplace else, right? So, obviously we had some work to do, and the team knew that, and so that's kind of where we were in 2023, and when we started to look at, where do we go, and then this is where we went.
It's a huge difference. And you're right. Like there's a huge difference where when we're talking about where we went after. So we had the lead come in from acquisition with the price condition, price qualified client that's coming in from the Instant Estimator. You're driving that out, getting you a measurement with a durable customer record attached, getting those proposal and signed. But you're right. Where does it go from there? There's a lot of, pardon my French, there's a lot of shit that happens after a proposal sign that we need to figure out. So we need like something with invoicing, we need material orders, we need production, we need pre-production, all that stuff. And Pete, how did we ended up bringing that all together?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, building in the workflow and and changing the whole way we viewed jobs inside the system is really was probably the biggest turning factor for us, right? Like being able to now have this workflow where when a job came in, you could keep track of it through its entire life cycle and be able to track it, and that gave us the foundational piece to be able to build the rest of the CRM tools on. So the job board edition, if you guys are in Roofr, obviously you all have it. If you're using it, great. We love feedback about it. But being able to move the jobs through that workflow and set your workflow up was a real game changer, and it literally changed the way not only that you used and interacted with Roofr, but also the way that Roofr could accommodate your jobs for you. So there wasn't this hard stop anymore at the proposal. Now you could run the job through the whole life cycle and handle it and keep track of it inside of Roofr. So I think that was probably the biggest, visual change and also process change inside of Roofr for us in 2023.
Yeah, being able to kind of visualize that and seeing it on like that Kanban board where things can be pulled across just allows you to have a different kind of level to things. And if you see this with that big umbrella that's kind of taking over everything here, what's really cool to think about is like most CRMs out there, there's a lot of great CRMs out there, and we all know their names and stuff, and they're great. But ultimately, you need to use multiple single point solutions to get a full workflow lined in there. You need something for an lead acquisition aspect to it. You need a measurement tool. You need a beautiful proposal tool because let's face it, nowadays people want that information. They want it quick. They want the I just start bringing a shot glass to these because I'm about to say it. They need education and transparency in their quotes, and then you need to get that kind of flowed out. So you need to have an invoicing tool, an instant estimator tool, a measurement tool, maybe a proposal tool if it's not up to your snuff there, and have that all kind of tied in. And what that is now a lot of automations and APIs and Zapiers and stuff like that that can break at any given time. It's a lot of subscriptions that you're paying. It's just like I did an audit on my subscriptions and realized I was paying for 2 streaming services that I don't think I've used in the past 8 months. So it's just like roofing tech is no different. And then ultimately overpaying on measurements and stuff like that too. It's just a lot of extra costs that we're able to now bring under with our instant estimator, our measurements, our proposals, invoice payments, etc., all in one spot for you.
Yeah, and I think it's a huge piece to note here, right? We've added a Roofr CRM, but the Roofr CRM is another feature for us in a much larger platform, right? That has measurements, that has this proposal tool, and there are other roofing CRMs out there. Just like there's other measurement tools, just like there's other instant estimators. But the reality of it is, the the roofing CRMs, right? And the CRM for us is just another feature in a larger suite of tools. And it's, and I think that's a huge advantage for us.
Yeah, especially when you're like an owner operator, small to medium sized businesses, anybody really. It takes a lot to run a company and to be able to streamline it and to be able to make sure that you're getting your money's worth on everything there. CRMs are important so you can track stuff and understand where they are. But when you're running 5, 6 different tools, not only are you putting overhead, that unneeded overhead on over your head, really, like you're costing yourself time, you're costing yourself energy. And then when you're talking about training and replicability to grow your team, it's hard. You got to train them on 6 different tools. If something breaks, you have to go 6 different support people. If you do have support, if you do have that kind of success. So it breaks it down pretty quickly where if you have that all under one hood, that's one subscription to rule them all. That's one tool, one customer success, one customer support. And you're able to really stream into new CRM features.
Yeah, I mean, let's face it. I know roofing contractors, and I'm sure you do too, Nick, that literally have CTOs on staff, like technical folks whose entire job it is just to manage their tech stack because there's so much that goes into it, having those multiple platforms and having to manage how they speak to each other and training
Mhm.
your people and all those things you just mentioned, you know, that they've actually created a position inside of their company just to handle all this stuff. So, you know, the idea of being able to consolidate and streamline that, could save you in a number of different ways.
And that kind of leads into our next slide there. Like, this is why we built this software out there. So it's built for roofing businesses. It's not built as a, just a construction tool. Like, there's like a great tools out there that you can have multiple trades in and stuff. This is literally built for roofers. I hate the line built by roofers for roofers, because like every freaking CRM or tech tool says that.
Everything that's ever entered this industry, I think, has had
It
that
has that,
tagline.
but, like, that's the thing, like, we look at and really focus on the tools you need to run your business and kinda join together the software that helps you manage, grow, and optimize it, and that's the big difference. If you listen to that podcast with Pete and Richie, that a lot of the conversation is about what we wanna do to help you grow, optimize, and manage your company.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think it's a huge point, right? Like you said, you know, so many of these tools try to spread out and enter a lot of other industries, you know, their home improvement tools in general. Roofing is just one of the facets that they touch. And that works for some tools, but for some tools, it's better to be focused. And that's what we've decided to do. Like, we've really gone in and just said, hey, we're going 100% in. We're going to be hyper focused on roofing. We're going to build the best roofing platform that we possibly can.
Yeah.
And it speaks a lot to the feedback that we take and the people that we deal with. We're not looking to get landscapers and power washing guys on this platform. Like, we want roofers on the platform. We want it to work for roofers, and we want it to be the best possible product we can for the roofing contractor. So being hyper focused, I think, is definitely an advantage for us.
And taking that feedback is huge too. Like, I'm looking at the people that are in there. So like, what's up to some of the people that I know here, like Dale Shoemaker, what's going on? We could see that we got Jeff Leonard in there. We can see a bunch of these guys that we've chatted to a bunch of times.
Yeah.
And they have given us feedback, and we have put that into action. And that's kind of what we run our complete company on, is making sure that we listen to you. Because ultimately, yeah, sure, I'm a roofer. I've been roofing since I was 12. That's great, but I'm also a roofer from a small town in Canada. It's not the same as Dale, who's running out in Georgia, running jobs and building that stuff out. Like, he has a completely different need than I would. So listening to
Exactly.
them, and Dale is completely different from Jeff in Sacramento. Like, they all have different kind of features and stuff like that, and we're looking to build something that works for roofers in general. So why don't we do a quick look on what we built over the past year and
Yeah.
see what we have here?
Ooh, that's a lot of stuff.
Oof.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, like we talked about a little bit earlier, the job board, right? The job board, being able to track your jobs now from cradle to grave, has been a huge addition to the platform. Being able to set up that workflow now, so that, from the lead coming in all the way through to the job completed, you can now track it. Obviously, before we stopped at the proposal, not anymore. Having that, becoming that source of truth or that record for the customer, has been a huge push for us. Being able to kind of have one central location where you store all your information. That's what our goal was and continues to be. And we look to continue to improve that. So, you guys will see a lot of stuff coming here in the future that'll allow you to continue to grab that information and bring it into that customer record, so that, as time goes on, you can reference that and we become more of a database for you to store your information. Performance dashboards. I know this is one of your favorite, Nick.
I'm in love with this. Just being able to know your numbers, know your information at all times. And what's unique about ours is we tie in the marketing aspect. Like, how many people in this chat right now? We got 56 of you guys in there. How many of you guys truly know your marketing numbers and your ROI on each one of your lead sources? I'm going to guess very few. And that's what the performance dashboard does. You can put in every source there and see not only how many leads are coming in, that's easy. Well, how many of those leads become qualified? How many of those qualified become one? What's the average job value and the one job value there? James, I knew you would know. I knew when I saw that, I knew it would be you. So James is up from my area in Canada, so we chat a lot. He's great dude. But how many of you guys know from like that average job one value and stuff? In our system, you can see that. And even when it comes down to our team leaderboard. Not only like how many jobs they're winning and what their close rate is and the amount they pulled in, but other things that are important for replicable training and leading by example, like what's their qualified to close rate and what's their new lead to qualified rate. Those things are super important. So I love our performance dashboard, and it's just only going to grow from here.
Yeah, I love the performance dashboard for the accessibility of the information, right? It's not like I have to go in and pull reports on all these things to see them. The dashboard is something that as an owner or a, operations manager or production manager, whoever I am, whatever my position is in the company where I'm kind of overseeing what's going on, I can go into that performance dashboard and just get a really quick glimpse into everything that I have going on. And, it saves a lot of time. We're not having to go in and create custom reporting and all this super in-depth stuff. I can go into that dashboard and see my numbers, the important stuff, like close rates and my leaderboard and how are my marketing sources performing? Like just at the blink of an eye, I can go in there and see it all. And I love that part of it. It makes it really, really easy to keep track of the really important stuff. So, team collab, obviously we have a team feature. But now, with the ability to tag people and add people and create tasks and add notes, we've really stepped up the game there to be able to really involve the team and communicate internally inside of Roofr. So that's been great. Automations just continue to get better and allow you to really streamline the process by being able to start to automate parts of your workflow and your day for these guys. And, and I think that's only going to continue to improve as we go, into the next year. So, and then homeowner comms, that was a big one. Late in 2023, we released automated emails out to homeowners based on activity inside the platform. So, and, I think we have a step up of that coming here in 2024 that we'll see. But homeowner comms is a big one. Obviously, communication in general, a huge piece. Our goal, one of the things that we talked about at Rise and that I often talk about with contractors is, in order for you guys to get referrals, which is always going to be the number one way we generate leads in the roofing industry, right, is through a referral. How do we get referrals? By offering a world-class experience. And that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to build the tools here that'll allow you guys to offer a world-class experience to your customer. And, things like automated homeowner communication, being able to be proactive about this stuff, automations to make the process very clean and streamlined. All of these things are just going to help you to improve the service that you're able to offer. And, and that's ultimately our goal.
Yeah. And one of the things, like one of my favorite things about the automated emails and stuff is like when you move it to job completed, you can send out a review with a big CTA on it, a review email. Make sure that you get those reviews in because ultimately, you said it all the time, is your customers are your greatest marketing asset. Yep. So those reviews mean everything. So imagine just like moving it to job completed and then automatically an email sends out. So you could continuously get those things in there and automate that process. So you don't have to go out and just call these people and say, hey, do you mind leaving a review or craft something up and stuff like that. So that's one of my favorite little features in the email communications is the review requests.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we have Angel. We're going to chat about that very soon, actually. So that's good. So stay tuned. And then some new things that are coming out. So we have integrated tools that are built to work together without having to switch platforms. So things like material ordering, invoicing, and payment processing. All three of those are coming out on Friday. On the 2nd, we're going to have those things out there in our open beta. They've been in closed beta for about a month. They're freaking awesome. Just you take one proposal, click on it, and it will take all those things in there and put them automatically in there. So you can into the material ordering and the invoicing, you're ready to go. And our payment processing, Pete, it's just like our proposals, they're best in class.
Yeah, I mean, these were phenomenal things. I mean, these were things that were asked for early on in the process. Obviously, when we were building the CRM, some of the feedback that we got was, hey, these are things that are crucial to my operation. And the team's done a great job of knocking these out. And, like you said, they've been kind of in the beta state here since probably about RoofCon, right?
Yeah.
Shortly after RoofCon. So we've done a lot of testing here. One of the things that you'll find with, like anything that we do is we really take a lot of time up front to do a lot of research and a lot of customer research so that we nail it right out of the box. But we also do a lot of testing with contractors to make sure that it works exactly how they want it to before we really fully release it. And, we've done some of that here with invoicing, payment processing, material ordering. And, like Nick said, they're all great features, inside of, we call them tools here, but they're just tools inside the toolbox of this giant CRM that we're building. So, so these are great features. You guys are going to love them, and, excited to see these go live, and contractors have the ability to jump on them.
Big time. And when we talk about getting excited, let's get excited for saving some money, because our payment processing rates, look at me, I'm like a great sales guy, I swear.
That was
But
a great segue there.
what a great segue. It's like I tied it together.
Very
there.
smooth.
I tried, and it's working out pretty good there. But our payment processing is ridiculous. So it's 2.8% on credit card and 0.5% on ACH with a max of $40. So no extra cost for seats, like if you had to have them in QuickBooks and stuff like that. No extra, you don't have to have it sent to your admin person so they could send out that stuff. Each one of your sales reps, whoever's doing, could do it on site through email and everything else, and collect payments quickly. It's like 2 days, business days processing. So you get that money in your account quicker. Everyone gets paid faster. You can still grow your business and build that out. And just like we do on measurements, we're saving you money again on the payment processing.
Yeah, huge if you guys are doing repairs and maintenance out in the field now, having invoicing and payments built right in.
Exactly. Just get that in right off the bat. It's going to help out. Just an update on the payments. We will have it come out in Canada soon. We're waiting on the e-transfer, as we don't do ACH up here. So it will be coming out in Canada soon, but we will definitely, February 2nd, we'll have the open beta for Roofr payments. So super exciting stuff. All right. This is what everybody, all 50 plus people in here have been waiting for. So drum roll.
Updates.
All righty. So Pete, why don't you dive into some of the upgrades we're doing in our current core products that you know?
Yeah. So, obviously the Instant Estimator has been a huge hit since we put it out. And we've had a lot of requests coming from the Instant Estimator of how we could potentially evolve that product a bit, and be able to do some other things with it. The first one, obviously, financing, right? We've had a lot of people asking to be able to show financing, to be able to offer financing right there, to kind of streamline that process of going from, getting that quick quote, on the Instant Estimator and being able to roll it straight into a financing situation. So, so we added price ranges and financing, those display now. We had some folks up front say, hey, I'd love to just give a range. So we were able to add that in there in 2023, a Zapier integration, right? We added a Zapier. So we had some people requesting to be able to take some of that information from the Instant Estimator and feed it to some other platforms, like their, marketing campaign platforms and things like that. So added the Zapier integration in there. And then, I think we just launched, right, the ability to have optional questions.
Yeah, you can turn them on and off now. So you can really kind of customize the flow to what you wanted. So if you're not offering financing, straight, like that's good. We could just turn off that question. So you don't have to worry about that. So it allows it to be a little bit more specialized to what you're offering.
Yeah. You want to talk about measurements a little bit, Nick?
Yeah, you guys were asking a lot for waste factor and waste factor recommendations, so we added that in, so you can get that on all plans. On paid, you go with an extra fee, but if you're on a paid plan, Pro, Premium, or Elite, that's going to be included directly in there. And we increased 2D report coverage, so we're able to get that imagery out and get more options, so you have less instances of 2D where you have to punch it in. We actually have an update we'll talk about later that's going to even help that even more.
Yeah, and I want to a huge shout out to the team, the measurement team, and the amount of time and effort that they put into learning waste factor, studying waste factor, and figuring out the best possible way to calculate that. I mean, painstaking amount of time spent on that to really nail that. So
I asked them what the formula was for fun, and I left with a nosebleed. I was just like, "How did you guys figure that out?"
Yeah, definitely cramps right in the mind on that one. Yeah, a lot of time spent there. So proposals, right? So some of the things we added to proposals in 2023, the profitability pieces, setting minimums, setting defaults, being able to set some guardrails there so that your team has to operate within some profitability guidelines is huge. I know, in the past where I was, we had to build that into pricing on the back end because we didn't have the ability to kind of protect it and and make sure that a salesman didn't give away the farm. So we added in these guardrails and tools that allow you to set some minimums and defaults. So that was huge. And then the editing experience, which I know you and I have talked about, Nick, and it's a huge add-on. If you guys weren't on proposals early on, to see the difference from what proposals was in the beginning to what it is now, and the editing experience that our team has created. What is it called? What is their WYSIWYG, right? What you see is what you get.
That's
Essentially now, right? Essentially now, when you are editing in the editing portion of the proposal tool, what you're editing is what it's actually going to look like to the customer. And that's a huge advantage. I mean, obviously before, if you guys used the tool early on, you'd know that you would go in and create a proposal and have to kind of go out and preview it and come back, make some adjustments. Now you can make all of those adjustments and you're literally seeing it in real time, exactly how it will look to the customer. So really, really streamlined that process and made it a lot less painful to build a proposal. And, it was a really awesome addition, and they continue to do improvements to that. I think all the way down to to the additions of the photos on the photo page. They've updated every single page of that proposal tool, to better reflect how it will look to the end user.
It's so cool. And thank you for letting me know what WYSIWYG was, because I had no idea. I was worried it was going to come to me. That's why I wanted to do measurements. So it was on you for that.
I guess it's a fancy product term maybe that I just learned. I don't know.
Did not know that.
Yeah. What do we got next there, Nick?
Yeah.
Section
so we got
headers.
Section headers is great to kind of really differentiate your proposal now. So you can really kind of set it up so you can be like, hey, this is roofing, this is flashing, this is underlayment, etc. So whether you're dealing with a homeowner, you want to kind of educate them and show them what each product's for with the descriptions and everything, or whether you're dealing with a carrier who wants to know what are you doing for each one of these situations and how are the pricing going to translate to it. That was a huge thing to kind of allow that there. And it just really makes your proposals just so easy to read and so easy to understand. And again, separating yourself from the competition there.
Yeah. The next one, multi-signatures, obviously a huge one. This was one that, I was big on from the very beginning, is like, hey, there are certain markets where you got to have multiple signatures. You got to have, if the husband and wife are both on there, you got to have them both sign, or you got to have, the salesman sign and them sign. So you got to have the ability to have multiple signatures. The team did a fantastic job. They built a fantastic experience around adding multiple signatures, around having a cosigner, around having inline signatures and initials. It's really a fantastic addition to the platform. It changed the whole way the platform kind of feels from a customer standpoint. Very DocuSign-ish, which I think a lot of people are used to, and the way you can move through that. And, it's just a great addition to the proposal tool. Very, very clean, signature experience now for the end user.
And allowing you to kind of put in contracts in there, signatures on terms and conditions, so that you're protected and the user's protected. Because if you put a little initial beside, like, hey, it's 2.8% on processing fees, so it's going to go onto your bill, there's no way that it's going to be a hidden thing to them now. So less breakdown of communication with your customers is going to increase how well that they're going to see you as a contractor from before the sale and after the sale, and ultimately how they're going to refer you. So it's a nice live, like you said, DocuSign-ish. I call it a legal document where you click, all of our quotes are live, and it starts moving across there as well.
Yep. Yeah, fantastic. And then, of course, we did some updates to the proposal covers as well, so that, that cover page, obviously a big piece of the presentation style of our proposal. The ability to bring in your own photos and all of those things. And the team has done some great additions to that and some modifications to that to make it even cleaner and better looking.
And all that, and wait till we see the updates that are coming with the proposals as well. These things are all live now. As Dino said, he's already using these features. So one of the questions that we did get in the back end was like, well, do we have any plans on integrating with Sumo Quote? I would really implore you to just take a look at our proposal system, how powerful it is, how user-friendly it is, how it takes our measurements that already you're using and pulling them directly into the proposal so it auto-populates it. I like Sumo Quote's a fantastic tool. Very happy with them and everybody there. Like, they're a great team. But if you would to look at ours, I think that you might want ours more.
Yeah, I mean, One of the things that really blew me away, one of the use cases is our friend Corey, and the fact that he was able to build his entire in-home presentation that his team does inside of this tool. It's essentially slides turned into PDFs as pages in our proposal tool. And his team's able to really just take that proposal, run through it as an actual presentation, and then get a signature right there. So essentially you've got what was two separate systems, right? A presentation system and then a proposal tool. And now it's one and the same, right? It's all
Yeah,
one document. It's very easy to go through it with the customer and just go right to that signature section and start to get signatures and get your questions answered, get your initials, everything you need. And, it's kind of the presentation and the proposal all wrapped into one. And I think that's really where the power of the Roofr proposal tool comes into play.
100%. That's a really cool part there. So with all those updates that happened last year, it's good to start talking about the upcoming roadmap for 2024, which I'm
Yes.
assuming that's why all 60 of you guys are here. So
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So let's
awesome.
dive into that. I'm sure that's why everybody's here. They want to know, right? So
Yeah. So
yeah,
I
let's
see
do.
some other people up in there too, Richard and everybody else. You're going to be excited to see because I know specifically with Richard and Dale and James, some of the stuff that you've personally requested is on its way. So let's start here. So why don't we start with what's coming out now, like as in the next couple months?
Yeah. So what we've done here is we've kind of broken this down for you guys into product updates of existing products, then new features that we have, and then potential integrations as well. So, we'll start here with the products that are already existing, right? So custom stages, right? You guys have asked, for a couple things to be able to modify the workflows on the job board. And the first two options here are things that are in production right now that we can't wait to roll out to you guys. That's the ability to create custom stages and the ability to have multiple workflows. So if you're someone who does, let's say, repairs, retail work, and insurance work, you'll be able to create these workflows around each and be able to easily view all of those either together or separate on the job board, and be able to manipulate that however you need to really to handle that, and also to add your own custom stages. That was one that we knew was going to come as soon as we added a job board, so
Yeah.
we were ready for it. But yeah, I mean, definitely a great addition to be able to go in and customize, even if it's just the way that those stages are laid out or whatever it is. You'll be able to go in there and make those adjustments now.
Yeah, Richard Tooley, I'm looking at you, buddy. I know that this was a big one for you. So no longer do you have to tie in like your commercial and residential and everything else and repairs all together. You're going to have 3 separate pipelines to work off of it.
Yeah. Optional upgrades. You want to talk a little bit about that one, Nick?
Yeah, I love that. So like if anybody here has used our proposals, you can have unlimited upgrades. But the problem is it gets a long proposal because you can go like good, better, best. So you have that. Then you have an upgrade option to gutters, upgrade option to ridge vent. And you're getting one option for an entire page. So it does add in. And especially like maybe if you want warranty, upgrade to gold pledge, silver pledge, etc. You're going to have one item on an entire page and it adds up. What people loved was the ability on the summary page to pick each different one and it adds up in front of you. So what we did was basically optimize that. We allow you to each option add upgrades. So if you have a good, then you could upgrade to gutters on that, upgrade to ridge vents, upgrade to golden pledge, and it will be a drop down underneath that. So it condenses the proposal into much more palatable, much more understanding process, and see that clearly if you click on this is an upgrade. It will also allow you to kind of have a good, better, best, so they can't click on good and better by accident and then also on an upgrade. So it'll really make that clean and operable and understandable to the customer. Again, increasing that customer experience and again, helping you stand out from the competition.
Yeah, this is a huge upgrade, for lack of a better term, to the proposal tool. It really is. I think that, being able to have essentially your packages and then your upgrades on top of it, we've taken that idea and really just done a fantastic job of capturing it and making it very user friendly, both on the back end to build it and also on the front end for the customer to understand it and be able to manipulate it if you're, doing that in-home presentation or whatever you're doing. And you'll be able to now, walk through your good, better, best, like you said, and then be able to go through the upgrades with each, just a much, much cleaner experience. So a huge addition there.
Correct. Yeah.
Let's talk about the Instant Estimator a little bit. Got some stuff going on with it.
Yeah, I'm so excited. It is the only way I can describe it with like being PC and being able to like say this on a recorded line is that it's sexy. It's like it's so nice of what the upgrade is. The presentation of it is beautiful. The questions are beautiful. The fact that we're going to get multi buildings added in where they can pick and choose from their upgraded imagery, so it's going to be even more accurate than before. And at the end, having us to build in financing links and calendar links directly in that final page, it's also shareable. It is stunning. And yes, it's sexy AF, Dale. So thank you for quoting that. That should just be the title of this masterclass on our website. It's sexy. So that stuff is going to be ridiculous. I'm super excited for that to come out, and more stuff with the Instant Estimator being improved as we're going along. So let's just remind everybody that I said in February, it's going to be a crazy month in February and March at the beginning of this call. Look at all the stuff that's coming out in the next 2 months here.
Yeah, multi-building. You hinted at it a little bit there. The ability to capture multi-building now with Instant Estimator and be able to choose the buildings. I mean, that's a huge upgrade. We were asked, if you're dealing a lot with, multifamily properties or property management groups, or maybe even a real estate agent, like this is going to be a huge addition. And then, Nearmap's DSM integration. So the addition of that imagery and what does it do for us?
Yeah, so that's going to allow us to, we just talked about the reducing of the 2D imagery on the slide before, and this is going to take it to another level. We're going to increase our imagery so that we have more coverage for us, less 2D reports, and better accuracy. So that's a big thing that we're going to be able to have that kind of lined in and allow you to kind of streamline that workflow even more, because you're going to be confident in the imagery that you're going to get, even if you're just outside of a city center.
Yeah. All right, so let's jump down here now to new features. So this is a brand new feature to us, something that we, haven't had at all. We added homeowner comms, at the end of last year. We've got the automated emails going out to the homeowners, and now we have SMS.
We got the SMS. I can't wait.
Right? So we will have texting from inside the platform. So now you will have homeowner comms via email and text, all built in to the customer record, into the job itself.
Along with automation too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. With the automations built in. I know this is the direction that a lot of contractors have told us that they've been going lately as far as their comms to customers. So, so we listened and we jumped right on it, and now we've got SMS coming out. So a lot of work from the team. They've done a really good job of pumping that thing out. And getting that SMS set up. And yes, Richard, the idea is to have it launch as a two-way communication. So we kicked around the idea of going one way, but I think we are going to go two-way right out of the box. So you will have two-way communication. Obviously the goal here for us is to continue to make Roofr the source of truth or the place you go for all your information. So we want to capture as much of that as possible. So two-way communication, a huge piece of that.
Yeah, it's super exciting. The ability to just text and email and automatically kind of update that through automations throughout that platform is going to really help out with that all as well.
Yeah. Yeah, so let's jump over now to coming soon. So kind of to give you guys a feel of where we're at and all this stuff. Coming soon, the idea behind that would probably be more like in the first half of the year, and coming later, maybe in the second half of the year, like as far as roadmap goes. So discounts on proposals. Let's talk a little bit about that, Nick.
God, Pete, since we launched proposals, there's been a couple things that you've been screaming from the rooftops, no pun intended, and discounts is definitely one of it. But it proved to be like a difficult thing to build, right? Like the negative line items and everything else. And we built in I saw Dino in there asking about discounts that right now. So discounts should be a fairly fast follow. So in the first half of what Pete said should be coming in. So no direct timeline, but we try to build out features to kind of help out with like name that price, right? We can add that in and we can put it like as a discount, but it doesn't show. So this discount on proposals is just really going to complete that entire proposal system with upgrades, with discounts and everything else, with dollar and percentage amounts as well. So it's a nice presentation that's going to really make a big difference for us.
Yeah. And so next on the list, catalog changes. I could speak a little bit to that one. Our catalog originally, when we built it, was built to accommodate our proposal tool. And it was, just built to be able to easily feed information into proposals and be able to map our line items and everything. And now that we have the CRM functionality and we've added material ordering, obviously there's some more information that we need to be able to capture and be able to sort out on the back end, with suppliers getting involved and more information needing to be captured there so that we can place material orders. So our team is jumping on changing out some of the catalog functionality to better accommodate the material ordering piece, and and be able to capture a little bit more information and make that a little bit cleaner on the back end, to distinguish between what's material and what's labor and what you got going on back there in the catalog. So if you guys have used our catalog, it's just kind of a master price list back there. We're going to streamline the way that feels a little bit and be able to capture some more stuff for you guys to make it a little bit better.
Yeah, the way that our product marketing manager put it is a completely different looking catalog, aka a catalog with Botox in a facelift. So
Like
the fact, yeah, it's nice. I like that too. So if we're adding in like things like material, labor, other, like you're really going to be able to accurately put in your pricing, no matter how you price right now. So that's one of the most exciting things I had about it.
Yeah, and all that stuff allows us to just build more and more functionality in. Being able to separate your material and your labor now allows us to build material orders and work orders, right? So all these things kind of build on each other. So that catalog piece, that foundational catalog update is a big one for us. Document builder. This has been something that we've been asked for a lot. The ability to do other things besides proposals, right? Hey, I want to build an inspection report. Hey, I want to have a contingency agreement in there. I want to have documents that potentially need a signature, but are not a proposal. And, how do I build those potentially or capture them, in the product? And the team is hard at work on figuring that out. So a document builder is going to be a great addition, to the proposal tool. Definitely an evolution of that proposal tool for sure.
Yeah, think about the contracts. It's funny, right when you were about to say it, our boy Jeff Leonard in the chat DM'd me here, and he said he was talking about like all these features coming out. And Jeff, this is something that you asked about a week ago. I sent you a personalized video on like how you can work around with it right now by building those contracts directly into your quotes and stuff like that. But ultimately, we're going to have a document builder that's going to be in there so you can put those contracts in, those forms, those inspection reports, and all that stuff. So it's going to really be like that all-in-one system. So no longer need to have a DocuSign subscription, for example. Like DocuSign is fantastic. I'm not saying get rid of it, but hey, we might fill that void and take away another subscription that you don't have to pay for.
Yep. Document library. This has been a big one, right?
That one's exciting. So I'll phrase it this way. There's so many times that we talk to a customer where they're like, hey, I got all these brochures in here. I got these SOPs in here. I have like mapping. I have all this stuff that I need in there, right? Into our system. Where do I put them? And the answer is we don't have a spot to put them right now. I would recommend a Google Drive. But once we have a document library, it's going to allow you to store all those things in there. So if you got a sales rep building out a template and they need to add in something from your flat roofing, they're doing TPO, but they added in the option, but they don't have the brochure. They don't have to go looking for the PDF in another template, download it and go back and do it. They'll have a document section where they can pull from stuff that you've already stored. So this is going to really help streamline not only your systems and processes, but just getting things out to the customer at any time. If you're sending an email to someone and they're like, hey, what was that brochure that you have? I can't see it. It's just like, boom, it's there. So we'll be able to have all that stuff there. Loving the comments, huge. By the way.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a big one, right? Because obviously, as you're building templates, you want to be able to have easy access to that stuff, or have the ability for your sales team to grab stuff if they need it. So the document, a global document library there is a big one.
Yeah.
Optional questions for the IE. That's a big one. Obviously, we have the ability now to kind of pick and choose the questions. on the IE, but what if we want to add a question, right? What if we want a question that's different than what's on the IE, maybe around insurance or something like that. So we're
Or
going to be
maybe
able to,
it's a 2-story, like those
yeah,
kind of
yeah.
things.
Yep. So a lot of really good options there. Going to be able to have optional questions and be able to customize the flow of that instant estimator even more than you already can. So that's a big one there.
Yeah.
Reviews and a company cam integration, right?
Ooh, like when we're going back to Dale, what was your line? Sexy AF. That's the one. We'll bring it right back for this. So having reviews and company cam integration for Instant Estimator is really gonna just give that new facelift an even bigger facelift. So they're gonna look like Dolly Parton. Is that good?
Dolly Parton, yeah.
I don't know what their
It will
face
never
looks
age. It will never age after this.
right, exactly.
All right,
But
so let's shift gears here a little bit, go to some new features, right? So those are all upgrades to existing stuff. Now here's some stuff that we are in the process of getting ready to add as brand new features to the platform. And the first one, calendar and scheduling.
oh boy, I cannot wait. Like salivating, drooling right now at the thought of this coming out. It's super exciting. We need it, and it's coming, and we don't want to just throw it in there without having the right thing. So I saw in the chat there that who was it there? Alex, I think, was talking about the calendar integration and stuff like that. Yeah, we're going to have it out there. It's going to be added in, but we don't, like Pete said it earlier in this call, is we don't do things without planning, doing a lot of research in there, talking to our users, making sure it fits into like our feature sets and stuff like that. So we got calendar and scheduling coming out soon. By soon, it's been that coming soon list there. And it's really going to be able to help out not only schedule things, but kind of set tasks and everything else like that. Do you have some extra updates in that? Do you?
Well, I think calendar and scheduling is one of those things that there's a lot of nuances to it, right? When you dive into it and you realize, a roofing calendar is not an easy thing to produce. It's there's a lot of nuances to production and roofing, and a lot of things you need to capture and we need to keep track of. So, like you said, the team's been doing a lot of work to really get a good feel for it and really understand what we need, and taking their time to really produce a great feature here. And I think you guys are really going to like it when it comes out. So so that'll be a big one. That'll be a big addition.
And that ties,
CRM home, right?
and that ties
CRM home.
into it. That's it.
Yeah.
Right. That's what we mean by making sure that everything's in there. How is the CRM home going to help us?
Yeah. CRM home essentially is going to be our go-to dashboard, right? Like it's going to be where we land, and it's going to have what we need, our tasks for the day, our calendar appointments, our information on some of our jobs that may be crucial. Maybe something's aging out. It needs a little bit of attention. All these things, these kind of like high level things that we need to use to start our day and to plan our day. We're creating this one step kind of above our existing job dashboard, where you'll have this CRM home and be able to land on that. It'll be really big for, let's say, your salespeople, who are really, need to target their specific jobs and specific tasks and appointments every day. You'll have these to-do lists very visible here on CRM home. So that's a huge upgrade to where you kind of land when you come into the Roofr platform. So the team's been doing a ton of research on that. We're looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Notifications.
The notifications is going to tie into that. So now where we have
Right.
our task and everything else, it's going to allow you to know what needs to be done, what's coming up, and all those other things too, quick actions. So it's really going to help you kind of tie everything together. Instead of being your job board, being your home right now in Roofr, we'll actually have a Roofr home that's going to be your home, that's going to tell you what needs to be done, what's next, what's coming up, and everything else.
Yeah. And then obviously the next evolution of invoicing and payments is a QuickBooks integration, right? Everybody knows something that we need, that everybody asks for it. So QuickBooks coming soon, right? We'll keep you up to date on that. But sometime here in the first half of the year, the team's looking into it already. So that'll be a big one.
Yeah, and then coming into the coming later part, so the second half of this year, we got job costing, which is going to be great for like P&Ls, commission, and all that stuff too, which is super needed when you got a CRM and a growing company. You want to know where your numbers are. So we want to make sure we're doing that right as well. And that's something that's going to be coming a little bit later, and tying that in with work orders as well, right, Pete?
Yeah. Work orders, obviously kind of like the next evolution. You have your material orders. You want grab that labor and be able to communicate what's going on the job. So the next step of that is work orders. And obviously that ties back, like I said, to, some of those catalog changes, being able to feed those work orders cleanly. So, kind of all of this stuff evolving together, and just really building a really stout operating system for you guys. So, so that'll be a big addition. And then on the integration side, supplier integrations, right? Supplier integrations, a huge one. Couldn't ask for a bigger addition to the whole material ordering process. Obviously, it streamlines our catalog. It'll streamline your setup. It just does a lot of stuff for us. Inside the product, being able to, to update the catalog easily, to be able to create better templates for you guys, to be able to communicate the products back to the supplier that you need. So we got some really cool stuff coming there with some suppliers and working on things with them. So really excited about that. And I know that's a big game changer for the platform itself and for really, kind of streamlining the whole process of getting set up and keeping things flowing.
Yeah, imagine like live price updates, live ordering and stuff like that directly from the system, directly to the favorite one. So if you think of the big three out there on the supply side, let's say that there's a possibility those big three are there. So we'll be getting those in there. So, well, that's a lot of the stuff that's coming in. I know we got a lot of questions in the chat as well. So we'll flip over to our questions with the last 3 minutes. Quickly, I just want to touch on a couple that came in on the back end. James Rutherford asked if we'll be integrating color selection and can we make it searchable and stuff. We will have something around there to allow that to help out with selecting color with documents and stuff like that too. I don't know exactly when that one is coming. And for additional finances integrations, there'll be more coming this year. James, I'm sorry, finance it will not be one of them. I can go on a rant about that later, but it's not on our side. So they are one of our partners, and I can show you some tricks and tips and getting them kind of not integrated, but integrated into our into your proposal. So hit me up later. Sweet.
What else we got here for questions?
Gmail. We'll integrate with Gmail.
Yeah, it's a good question. I think that, obviously the evolution of the email tool, potentially the calendar and scheduling, all of these things, you guys probably use a lot of Google products, Google Calendar, Gmail. I could definitely see some down the road, some integrations with some of those things. So we'll definitely keep you posted on that.
Sweet. Pete, do you know if SMS will be working in Canada as well?
That's a good question. I can't say one way or the other, to be honest. I honestly don't know. I would assume yes, but I don't know that for sure.
I believe it's yes as well. And then to answer James, SMS will be able to be sent through proposals at one point as well. Yeah. Or proposals will be able to send through SMS, the other way around.
Anything else? Did we miss anything else here?
We got integrate with Gmail, integrations with Wave and there is a Zapier link with the Wave, Joel, that you can get a signed proposal and automatically create a invoice in Wave. I know that's not. We have no plans on integrating with Wave right yet. QuickBooks is our first and big one. Will the calendar integrate with Google Calendars, Pete?
I would imagine so. Yeah. I mean, I would think so. I think that'll be part of what we do. I don't know if it'll be version 1 or if it'll be down the road, but at some point, I'm sure that there will be some integration there. To answer Michael's question, will there ever be an app? I can tell you, Michael, that there has been talk of an app, and the team is researching app. There is no timeline at the time for, the release of an app or the build of an app, but the team is definitely looking into it. So could be a future item for us. Obviously as the CRM evolves, there becomes more and more potential need for that. So, so we will definitely keep that in mind. And like I said, the team is definitely looking into it.
A lot of big things coming up, and we got about 30 seconds left. If you want to see more, you got my email there, Nic at Roofr, Pete at Roofr as well. So just hit us up with any other questions. What a way to kick off this year, man.
Yeah. Out of time, but thank you guys for joining us. We really appreciate everybody jumping on. Like Nick said, if you guys have any additional questions, feel free to reach out, hit us up, hit up the team. And we're always here to answer anything that you need. And if you're going to be at IRE next week, come and see Nick and I. We can answer all your questions there.
See ya.
All right, guys.